I've got these cheap sheep shears and they're not that bad actually. They were less than 50 quid as opposed to about £400 for a pair of decent ones. And I only have about 20 sheep. The most annoying thing about them though is the on-off switch. It's so easy to knock it on. So you're wrestling with a sheep and you drop these on the floor and they turn themselves on, and it's like having a wild hedge cutter leaping about the place. So I'm going to do something about that. What I've made is this little plastic protector for the switch, which started life as a piece of this cable trunking, and with a bit of careful cutting I managed to make it this shape. So I'm going to glue it on with some of my new glue, which of course, like all other glues, claims to be the best glue in the whole of the universe. Glues everything together apart from your fingers, except that isn't true, as I found out. Well, astonishingly, it's glued it on instantly with a really strong bond. It does surprise me, but it doesn't matter how strong it is now, it's how strong it is in an hour or several hours that counts. Well, there's the answer to that one. 2 or 3 minutes. Well, I've got a tube of this stuff, which claims to kill all known germs, and for the price it was, it should do too. And it says it bonds plastics including PVC. Well, we'll see. There we are. I'll let you know tomorrow whether that survived or not. That is, if I have enough fingers left to work the camera. I might just put a couple of teeny wee screws in there as well. And here's a good tip for you. A really good place for getting teeny weeny screws is out of the corner of these cheap spectacles. Well now, I've just sheared the sheep for this year, and this stayed on, so that construction adhesive did its job. Now the other improvement that I made was I filed this surface, the surface that the comb clamps onto. Filed it perfectly flat, because as it came from China it was just sand cast, and that comb does really need to be on a flat surface. So a little bit of care and a fine flat file, and it made no end of improvement. Now I need to go and find a sharp comb and cutter, because I just threw this on one side last year when I'd finished with it. I think by the time you sheared your sheep, you're so sick of the sight of anything to do with sheep that these things always get neglected. And that must be why there are so many of them at farm sales in this state. Then you can't just put your cutter and comb on and expect the thing to shear properly. You really do need to spend some time setting it up properly. If you want your shears to cut properly, you need to spend some time setting up your cutter and comb. So if you take my fingernails to be the leading edges of the comb and the rest of my fingers to be the cutting edges, and this hand to be the cutter, you need to set your cutter so that it's just back from the leading edge, so that it gets a good mouthful, and you need the stroke of the cutter not to land at the ends of its strokes like that, but to land like that, just to make sure the thing gets a good mouthful each time, or you will really struggle. As for this control on the top here, if it isn't cutting, tighten it up a little bit. But you don't want it so tight that the cutting plate gets hot, because then you will have very jumpy sheep. Don't forget to put a bit of oil on it every now and then. I hope this little bit of information helps you. I'm not a really experienced sheep shearer at all, and this bit of information would have really helped me when I first started. One thing, the flex on these corded machines felts wool better than any felting machine, so if you can get yourself hold of a cordless one, I think it'd be worth the extra money. Well, it works, but it is only as good as the shearer, and the shearer isn't very good.